training camp so far for the Carolina Panthers have came with positives and negatives, but have certainly came with way more positives, to say the least. And it's time to start discussing how good this team can really be in 2025 in the NFC South as everything's coming together, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. So what are the biggest things that I've learned so far about this team in training camp? The first thing, before I do discuss the actual points of today's video when it comes to training camp, I do want to discuss Taylor Moton, okay? Because obviously yesterday, both Brant Tillis and Taylor Moton were on the podium yesterday, kind of discussing contract. Taylor Moton wants to be here for life. He wants to be here for the rest of his career. He wants to retire a Panther. He got emotional yesterday on the podium. Brant Tillis, the other side, being the chairman, working the money, the cap space, every single season, told us he's going to do what's best for this organization next season when Taylor Moton is a free agent and could potentially go to a new team next year. When I'm looking at the situation, obviously as a fan, I want Taylor Moton to be here for more years, right? Just give him that contract, let him stay, because not only is he very consistent, he's a very good player, he's the mantra of what you want on this offensive line. He's an anchor to the anchor of this team, which is the offensive line. He's been here for almost a decade now. In terms of the player, he deserves that contract, okay? But the type of person he is, that's the type of person you want. When you say keep pounding, that's the type of player you want on this team in terms of the person that he is. Getting emotional to be on this team for your career, never getting injured, being consistent every year, always being one of the top rated offensive linemen every single year when it comes to PFF grades. That's the type of player you want. I understand Brant Tillis' side, though, when he says he's going to do what's best for the organization, okay? Because at the end of the day, when you have consistent players coming in now, last 2 years, right? Last 2 off seasons with Dan Morgan, and he's really transformed this offense, right? Now you have so many young players that you're going to have to pay next couple of years. Bryce Young, T-Mac's going to have to get paid. Obviously, he's a rookie, so you can wait a little bit longer. You're going to have to pay Jalen Coker, Excel, some offensive linemen. You're going to have to pay some guys on defense too as well. Not mentioning J.C. Horn and Derek Brown are already under those big contracts. So every year when you have to maneuver, it's a business, right? You have to maneuver your money. You have to figure out ways to keep your money up and have cap space every single season to continue to build your roster and get better every single year. And if you feel like the player that is wanting money is asking for too much than he's worth and he's getting older, for example, I get that part, okay? But my thing is this offensive line is too good right now. You have to keep the trenches intact. You're too young right now. You have to keep your offensive line, your defensive line intact and be consistent and as good as possible every single year as long as possible. Okay? That's kind of the biggest thing when it comes to this argument is that I get the money portion, right? But if you let Taylor Moton go, are you going to be able to find someone as good or even better than him next year? I don't think so. It's going to take time through free agency. It's going to take time to get a better offensive tackle than Taylor Moton, right? And some people would even argue he's the best offensive lineman on this team right now. Fair argument. I get it. If you say that, I'll say Robert Hunt, obviously. But if you say he is, I get it. He's consistent every year. A right tackle, he's very underrated. Obviously, left tackles get all the praise, being that blind side for your quarterback. But Taylor Moton, for me, deserves that contract because you have to keep this offensive line intact, in my opinion. Being a young team, you want to keep your anchor together. If you let him go, how is that going to impact your offensive line next year? I think it's going to make a pretty big impact because you're going to have a new right tackle after you let your anchor go on the anchor of your team, which is the offensive line. So we're going to see how it plays out, okay? We're going to see how it plays out. I get both sides. Obviously, Brant Tillis, we understand why he's saying what he's saying when it comes to it's a business. Money speaks. Money speaks, okay? And if you're asking for too much as a player, we're going to have to let you walk, man. We're going to have to let you walk if they think your value is not up to that number that you're asking for. So we're going to see how it plays out. Obviously, next year he's a free agent. Let him walk or not. We're going to see. But we still have one more good year with the offensive line that we do have in 2025. Now let's dive right into the main topic of this video, which is the biggest things that I've learned so far about this team in training camp. The Panthers made the right selection with their first round pick with T-Mac at the 8th overall selection out of Arizona. And obviously, if you guys know me and you guys have been watching my content since the draft process, you guys know that I've been a Jalen Walker guy since the jump. Ever since we had the 8th overall pick, that was kind of the range that I saw him at. And I was like, this is your opportunity, man. The worst defense ever last year. It's your opportunity to go get your pass rush of the future. Very versatile player. I still think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. Okay, I still believe that. But T-Mac has proved me wrong all offseason long, man, and specifically in training camp. Day 1 to day 7, he has made a gigantic leap in training camp so far, being that outside threat for Bryce. It seems like every single practice, he doesn't need separation at all. He just goes up there, 50-50 balls. He can snag them no matter what with one hand. Yesterday, he had like 2 one-hand catches on the outside. So it just seems like when it comes to T-Mac, man, it was the right selection, especially after what we did, selecting Princely and Nick Scorum with the second and third round picks. It makes sense why Dan Morgan and Dave Canales wanted to solidify the wide receiver room and bring in a actual number one receiver for Bryce Young on the outside, because it just makes this offense so much better. It makes this offense so much more lethal. As you can see in training camp, it's just hard to stop, bro. It's hard to stop. It's hard to stop this offense now week to week for every defense when you have consistently different skill sets in this room. You have an actual outside threat now with T-Mac. You have a good slot with Adam Thielen still. You have 2 young players with XL and Jalen Coker. Jimmy Horn is out there making plays. It's hard for defenses now to stop this offense, this wide receiver room, this passing attack when you're consistently throwing different skill sets at them. And T-Mac is just a different skill set, man. And I'm going to say this right now. I think he has the highest potential in this division in the NFC South. Like, obviously, Drake London is obviously there as well, being a young receiver. Mike Evans is still number one until he retires, but I'm talking about the young players. He has a chance to honestly be better than Drake London. Okay, I'm talking about like as early as next season. It's not it's not a hot take. If you look at him and look how good he actually is, it's not a hot take. Falcons fans can come at me in the comments. He is going to be such a lethal weapon for Bryce and be such a good receiver in this division off the rip. So if you disagree with me, obviously it's your own take. That's fine. But I believe that solely because if you look at training camp so far, he's just out there balling, man. He's out there balling. He's doing his thing as a number one receiver in this room, essentially. Okay, he's going to go out there and make plays. I am a big believer on let rookies come into the league and kind of solidify themselves, because I hate when Panther fans specifically like to see one clip in OTAs, mini camps, training camp, and be like, oh, that rookie's going to be Hall of Famer after year one. Can we let them kind of develop and translate their game to the league first? I'm a big believer in that. Okay, and T-Mac has done that so far. From practice to practice, he's got consistently better. So now I'm starting to really hop on that train that he's going to be such a good player this year and be the number one receiver on this team in 2025. The next biggest thing that I've learned so far about this team in training camp so far is that the corner room may be better than we think. And obviously, I'm still kind of concerned about this room to a certain degree, because obviously you have JC Horn, Mike Jackson's is very consistent, can be good week to week. Shaw Smith-Wade, the second-year corner, is the biggest reason why I think this corner room can be better and maybe better than we think in 2025. Because if you guys have not watched my bowl predictions video I made right before training camp about a week ago, I discussed how out of all second-year players, I think Shaw's going to have the biggest leap. Out of Trevor Wallace, XL, all those second-year players that were drafted, he was going to have the biggest leap for us in 2025, and I still believe that. And he's out there being that slot corner, our number one slot corner out there in training camp. He looks the part. He's smooth. He's quick. His feet are fast. He just looks like a good corner. Honestly, I think he could be better than Mike Jackson this year. If I'm being honest with you, that's why I said, obviously, if he has the biggest leap this year, he's going to be better than Mike Jackson. Okay, because obviously, a lot of people are going to say Mike Jackson is a good corner. Okay, to a certain degree, he is. Again, week to week, he can vary, but some weeks, as we saw last year, he's just not that consistent, okay? If we want to take this room to the potential that we want it to be at this year, Shaw Smith-Wade has to be the second best corner, in my opinion, in 2025, and I think he has the ability to do it. He has the talent to do it. He looks the part out there in training camp so far, and when it comes to the topic at hand, which I say the corner room, it might be better than we think, I'm still underwhelmed about it, because after those 3 corners, you have Shamar Bartholomew, you have a Caleb Evans, Corey Thorne's out there making plays ever since MJ Devonshire got cut about a couple days ago, got put on IR. He's had to come in and really get reps, really the 4th corner spot for us. So in terms of after those 3, I'm concerned about this position. But when it comes to the first 3 players, JC, Mike, and Shaw, I think this room can be better than what I think it was going to be at the start of camp because of Shaw Smith-Wade's development in the slot for us. Okay, the next one is that the Panthers have not one, but 2 great tight ends on this roster. I'm going to say this again. You guys know my stance on Jalen Coker and XL argument. If there's an argument, is that I believe in Jalen Coker a little more. But the only way we can hit our potential at the receiver position is if both of them tap into their potential. Okay, I'm rooting for both players evenly. I hope both are good, because I'll be super happy about that. It's going to make our offense even more better. It's going to make it more lethal. It's going to just make it harder for teams to stop if both are good. I'm not rooting for one player more than the other. That's stupid. That's dumb. If you're doing that, you're not a fan. You're a fan of the player. You're not a fan of the team. You're a fan of the player. Okay, I don't condone that. I don't preach that. Okay, Same thing with tight end position. I believe in JT right now more than Mitchell Evans. It's not because Mitchell Evans is not a good tight end. I am a Notre Dame fan. I saw this guy play every Saturday. But as I stated earlier, I am not a rookies type person when I analyze football games. Okay. I need to see actual game time before I give you a certain level on this roster, especially when Jatavion Sanders last year was such a good tight end when he was healthy. There's no way I'm giving a rookie a higher status in year one over a year two player who has the potential to be a very elite vertical threat on this team and is proving it in camp right now. He's had a couple of touchdowns in padded practice on 11 on 11s. He's balling out there. So is Mitchell Evans, though. He's out there as a rookie, playing great in the passing game. A lot of people are surprised that he's doing really good in the passing game. I'm not, obviously, because I'm a Notre Dame fan, but it's just like I want to see how he can translate to the NFL. Not everybody can translate their game to the league, man. I don't care if you're first overall pick to the last selection in the draft. Not every single player is able to translate their size, their body, their athletic ability, the way they play the game of football at their position. Not everybody can translate their game to the league. So I don't like giving a player a certain status in a depth chart, in the league, in the NFL, until you prove it to me on Sundays or prove it to me like T-Mac, right? Where you're getting better every single practice and you just look unstoppable. You look like it. You can't be stopped because of your athletic ability, your size. You're just so good. Your hands wise. You're just a complete player at your position, right? And I'll be honest with you, JT is doing that so far at tight end, which I'm very excited about, as I mentioned. But Mitchell Evans, bro, if this tight end position is going to be as good as I think it can be in the future and this year, honestly, Mitchell Evans is also going to develop into a great tight end because you can run two tight end sets. That's the thing that people don't understand is that they're picking and choosing, oh, I want this guy, I want this guy. The only reason why I'm picking and choosing is because I want to see the rookie go out there and play first. I mean, I think it's pretty simple as why I'm saying what I'm saying. I don't think it's hard to comprehend why I'm saying JT over Mitchell Evans right now. It's not because I don't like Mitchell Evans. Okay, it's not because I believe in JT more. I just saw more from JT because he's a second-year player. He's not a rookie anymore. Okay, if roles were reversed and JT was the rookie, and honestly, if they both are rookies, I probably would favor Mitchell Evans more because he's doing more as a rookie than what JT did last year. Okay, but that don't mean anything because you have to prove it on Sundays first. Okay, so JT and Mitchell Evans, if this position group wants to be, if you want to make this passing attack even more lethal, both of these players are going to be good this year, and you're going to have to run two tight end sets this year with JT and Mitch. So I'm excited about that one. Obviously, that's what I think the third biggest thing that we've learned so far when it comes to training camp. Okay, the final one is going to be, again, kind of repetitive, but it's the offense side of the ball, man. This is the side of the ball that I'm super excited about. The defense, obviously, you can say the offense is doing so good because the defense sucks. I get that. I didn't want to make that a point because I think we all know the defense is going to be below average. So it's not nothing we really learned and nothing new. Okay. But the receiver room is just so good, man. It's so good. It's going to be good this year. You have different skill sets at every position. You have an ex receiver that can do everything as a rookie. You have an older slot guy who's going to be a great elite threat for you in third down situations, short down situations. You have two young players with Jalen Coker and Excel in year two that are continuing to develop, by the way. Both players are doing an outstanding job in their development as receivers. You have Jimmy Horn Jr. as a rookie who's just, again, a different player. You don't have a player like that in your room. Hunter Renfro's out there balling. You have David Moore as a seventh guy who could be the seventh receiver. We could keep seven, right? I think the receiver room is set, as I mentioned, the 1 through 6. But now it's just a matter of if we keep seven, and that seventh would be David Moore. Because I don't think, no way he makes a roster right now over Hunter Renfrow. I think Hunter Renfrow's kind of made the roster. He solidified himself. So the only way he makes the roster is if we keep seven guys. Okay. And I think that's a possibility. I think there's enough room as I crunch the numbers down to keep seven. But that's another biggest thing. I think that's the last biggest point for me when it comes to training camp so far is that the receiver room is just flat out amazing. And I did not think to start the training camp, I did not expect it. I wanted to see it first. Okay, as you mentioned, if you go watch again before training camp, I was like, the receiver room on paper, it looks very good, but I've seen how this has happened the last 2 years, man, where I look at the paper, I'm like, oh, this has a chance to be really good. And we hit the training camp and it's like only one guy's really popping off every day and nothing. Every receiver is going crazy every single day in training camp so far. 1 through 6. 1 through 6, every single receiver is doing an outstanding job. Even David Moore to a certain extent. They're all playing great in training camp so far. And preseason is going to prove it even more, man. If you can go out there and pads and, actual other teams and defenses and do your thing in preseason, especially as young players with Coker, XL, T-Mac, and Jimmy Horn, I'm going to be just even more excited about this room than I already am. And that's why I feel like I learned that, because, again, I was not I was not on the board yet of the receivers, because I've done that before. And that us Panther fans like to jump on board so quickly. We look at players and we look at certain paper and we're like, oh, that looks so good on paper, but they haven't proven anything yet. But because it looks so good on paper, I want to hop on that train. I've done that so many times the last 2 years when it comes to receivers. 2023, I saw DJ Chark and Al Thielen, and I was like, yo, this could be top 10 receiver core. And we know deep inside we were lying about that. We know deep inside we were lying as Panther fans, and we were never going to be a top 10 receiver core with that receiver room. But because we're delusional fans, we like to do that. So I'm done doing that. I have to see it first, okay? Because we're a young group, but we've proven it so far. We're getting better every single day. I love what I'm seeing. This receiver room is legit, man. So those are my biggest points that I feel like so far I've learned personally in training camp. Obviously, that Taylor Moton thing kind of goes hand in hand. I want to mention that first. But if you guys did enjoy this content, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, because I'm going live on Saturday. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Kind of like a last live stream before preseason. Just talk about whatever. We're on the road to 1K. We're 150 away. I'm super excited. I would not be here without you guys, man. So if you guys are new and support the channel, I would greatly appreciate if you guys do subscribe for me. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.